Creativity isn't just for artists. It's something all of us need in everyday life. It's really about staying curious, staying open, and staying connected to life. Welcome to this week's demo. It's really good to have you along again. So this week's video isn't my typical tutorial style lesson. It's more of a commentary on the importance of staying creative and curious throughout both childhood and adulthood. I often wonder, and I get this asked a lot, I often wonder how people exist today without some kind of a creative outlet in their lives. And I don't just mean fine art per se. Creativity can be anything really, painting in my case, music, woodworking, which I also enjoy quite a lot, but also cooking, knitting, and other things, maybe even game playing. I think what matters is simply having something that allows you to step away from the noise of everyday life, if only for a little while. I think we're constantly processing information, constantly looking at screens, and we're constantly distracted. I see this for myself and of course through the eyes of my kids. And after a while, without even realizing it, it can leave you feeling mentally crowded or disconnected from everyone and even yourself. That's why I think creativity is so important. Not necessarily because everything we make has to be perfect or impressive, but because the process itself is healthy. There's growing research suggesting it's actually healthy for both the brain and the nervous system. I actually came across this study from Drexler University in the States. Researchers studied what happens in the brain during creative activity. This was very interesting to me, of course. Even in people who weren't necessarily trained as artists, they found that making art significantly reduced stress levels. And I guess they measured it through certain inflammatory stress hormones like cortisol. What was really interesting to me is that it seemed like artistic skill level barely mattered. The benefit came from the process itself, being engaged, experimentation, focusing, and the creating itself. So there's something, I guess, restorative about making things with your hands, about slowing down enough to observe, experiment, and I keep saying it on my channel, simply enjoying the process. I often get questions and people commenting beautifully, by the way, thank you for that, about, they enjoy my content even though they're not all that creative. I always rebuke that with, I think everyone's got that creative bug in themselves, and I can teach anybody just to sort of express themselves through, in my case, medium, art, of course, but other ways as well. There are other studies in neuroscience and psychology that have also shown that creative activities can, as an example I'm citing here, reduce anxiety and mental fatigue, improve emotional regulation, and increase feeling of meaning and engagement. And I think that makes intuitive sense when you're deeply involved in painting, and again, other things like music, woodworking, gardening, and so on. Your attention shifts away from constant stress and fragmented thinking. You enter a more focused, I guess, present state. Some psychologists compare this to a flow state, I call that in fine art, where time slows down a little and the mind becomes quieter and more absorbed in the process. One thing I should probably mention before we get too far into this demo is that there's really no single way to approach creativity or painting. Some people naturally function better with a more structured and controlled process. They like planning, precision, and very linear approach to applying paint. And honestly, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. For a lot of artists, that structure is actually what gives them freedom and confidence in the process. And I find this to be the case with a lot of newer students or people just getting into fine art. In my own case, though, I tend to work very differently. If you're familiar with my channel, you already know how my approach is usually much looser and much more exploratory. I like working from the outside in. focusing in particularly at this stage, of course, with larger masses and larger color relationships and just the overall movement structure. This is obviously a static scene of my friend's apple orchard, so it's not necessarily moving, but I still like just to keep it playful and jump around the canvas, and particularly if I've got the brush loaded with a certain color value that's applicable, somewhere else on the canvas. And I think, as it's likely evident in the finished painting on the bottom right and some of the marks that I'm making now here, I enjoy using thicker paint, so in particularly for highlights, and of course broken color, and a more playful kind of brushwork, because it keeps the process alive, at least for me. It kind of keeps me curious while I'm painting. I think that's important, very important, because when painting becomes too rigid or overly formulaic, at least for me personally, it can start to feel more like maybe problem solving than genuine exploration. And sometimes the most important moment in a painting happens naturally. These little small idiosyncrasies or surprises, little imperfections or unexpected color notes, textures that weren't fully planned. But again, that doesn't mean everyone should paint this way. Some artists, and I've worked with a lot in the past, create intricate, beautiful work with much more of a controlled brush and a very methodical process. So I think the important thing to take away is less about copying somebody else's exact style of painting and more about discovering what kind of creative process actually keeps you engaged, relaxed, and curious enough to continue creating. That's very important. If you find something arduous or a part of some sort of a to-do thing, then you very likely will have you not create long term. And the idea is that you find something that is of interest and an escape, that you want to do it on a regular basis. Something else I've been thinking about recently is the work of the philosopher John Dewey and his book Art as Experience. Maybe you know about it. One of the things he believed was that art shouldn't be separated from everyday life, and that creativity is deeply connected to how we experience the world around us. And I think that also affects, to some extent, subject matter. So personally, I find myself lately, at least, more and more drawn towards painting things that are, I guess, quote-unquote, uplifting, peaceful, reflective, and I guess alive in some way. So simple subject matter, simple compositions, like a little small orchard, quiet moment, ordinary scene that has a kind of atmospheric warmth to them. This isn't necessarily because more darker or difficult subject matter has no place in art. It absolutely does, in my opinion, but because I think today as artists, we have, I guess, a duty to contribute something positive to the emotional atmosphere of the people that buy our work in their everyday life. When somebody has a painting filled with light, rhythm, color, movement, or a sense of calm in their home, I think it genuinely affects them, even subtly. It can slow their day down even for a moment. It can, I guess, reconnect them to the memory, nature, beauty, or just a quieter state of mind where they were when they bought that painting, or maybe they have some sort of provenance associated with it. And honestly, in a world that already feels very loud, very heavy, and very overstimulated, I think there's something valuable about creating work that reminds people to breathe and slow down. So even with this orchard scene that I'm painting in this demo, well, actually it's not an orchard scene, I'm just painting apples and trees, but ultimately, if you follow me here, I'm just painting light in the way that it interacts with the apples and the orchards. But ultimately, I'm trying to paint a feeling, something open and alive, colorful, and hopefully uplifting for whoever buys it. Now, in today's demo, I'm working in oils, and my own approach tends to be more color-driven and shape-driven. I think a lot in terms of warm and cool relationships, temperature shifts, As mentioned, broken color, as you can see me there applying with that palette knife, and also using many different color notes to describe form rather than simply blending everything smoothly together. And I understand that some of these are, if you want to call them advanced level or difficult to comprehend. And if you find my method somewhat interesting or very interesting, I encourage you to explore some of the other videos on my channel as I go much more into depth with regards to how I see color and apply color. But that absolutely doesn't mean creativity has to look this way for everybody. As mentioned earlier, somebody else may connect much more deeply with, let's say, charcoal, which again, by the way, I like a lot and I plan on exploring for my channel as well. So black and white drawing, watercolor, collage, even digital painting, or something completely outside traditional art altogether. And I think that's important to remember because sometimes people talk themselves out of being creative before they even begin. They think they need expensive materials or a studio or professional training or some kind of perfect setup first. But honestly, creativity can begin with almost anything, in my opinion. A pencil and a paper. Most of us started this way back when we were kids, and a cheap sketchbook, a small set of paints if you need to introduce color. Now, the hardest part, in my opinion, is just sitting quietly and learning to observe light and shapes and atmosphere and just the world around you more carefully and succinctly, just slowing down. Everything else, if you find time for that, by the way, it's, you'll find time for other things, and everything else will sort of flow into place. The medium itself is secondary. So what matters most is staying engaged with the creative process over time. The initial setup, and then of course the process, staying inspired, and then continuing to make things despite whatever your life circumstances may be at the moment. And maybe I'll end this video with this thought, especially for those of us who have children or maybe grandchildren. There was a well-known creativity study connected to NASA and George Land. This was years ago, that followed children as they grew older. Now, whether every statistic from that study is perfectly accurate or not, I still think the overall idea behind it is very important. The study suggested that very young kids naturally score extremely high in creative and divergent thinking, but that ability tends to decline, in some cases significantly, as they move through school and adulthood. And honestly, I think most of us can feel some truth in that. Kids naturally explore, they imagine, they experiment, they draw strange things, invent, and so on, without worrying whether the result is good or correct. But as people get older, life can slowly train that instinct out of us. Everything becomes more measured, more cautious, and more outcome-based. That's why I think introducing kids to creativity regularly is incredibly important. Now, I'm propagating it here. I'm not necessarily saying I'm successful with my own kids. A lot of times it's difficult. And this isn't necessarily to make them professional artists, but to help preserve that curiosity, imagination, confidence, and openness to exploration. And really, maybe adults need that reminder at times as well. Because creativity is not just about producing art, it's about remaining engaged in life in general. And, just remaining observant, remaining cautious, and remaining willing to explore and experiment instead of simply going through routines day in and day out. So hopefully this video encourages you and maybe the younger people around you as well to continue creating in whatever form feels meaningful to you. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. If you have any questions, of course, as usual, drop them out down below and I'm sure to get to them. For now, let's see what my creation here looks like up close. Thanks again and happy creating.